And right now in studio, very pleased to have with us the executive editor of the Daily Caller, Mr. David Martosko. David, how are you, sir?
I'm better now that I'm with you, Cam. It's been a long time.
It has been. Appreciate you coming on the program. You know, you used to join us when you were at the Center for not the Center for Consumer Freedom.
Right, yeah. One of those centers.
We have the Center for Individual Freedom on Monday.
I'm sure there's the Center for Gun Freedom and the Center for Drinking Freedom.
Exactly, and you cover them all at the Daily Caller now.
We do. We have we're the only national news organization of sort of general scope to have a guns and gear section. The amazing Mike Piccioni runs that, formerly of Human Events.
Yeah.
And he's done a fantastic job with that. It's been a great draw for the website. And if your listeners don't know, every week since Memorial Day and going through Election Day, we're giving away a gun every week. Did you know this, Cam?
Well, yes, I did.
Go to the Daily Caller's website. The top right, you see a big ad banner, free gun.
Yeah.
Every week the contest is different. You know, it's like follow us on Twitter, like us on Facebook, give us your email address.
Catch the hacker.
Catch the hacker. Yeah, yeah, don't get me started. We'll get there in a minute. But these are our, I forget the name of the manufacturer, and I should have known this, but they're 9mm handguns with the Bill of Rights inscribed on the slide. And we're not technically giving them away. It's the manufacturer giving them away. We're just telling them who the winners are. And, of course, you have to pass the ATF background checks and all those. You have to legitimately be legally allowed to purchase and own that firearm. But we're giving away 25 of them, and I forget which week we're on now, week 19 or something like that. But it is for real. We've given away a lot of guns. We're going to keep doing it through Election Day.
Wow. And, you know, I'm curious, David, have you seen a great deal of interest in this contest?
Are you kidding me? It's insane. You mean negative interest?
No.
Oh, no. I'll tell you, our general purpose email list has just, it's gone up in order of magnitude. The response was fantastic. We did get some emails saying, that's horrible. How can you do this? Gun culture, law, violence, blah, 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 blah. But look, people give away crazy things. I'm writing a cigar column now. I'm very soon going to launch a promotion. We're going to give away a bundle of 40 cigars. Why not?
Wow. You know, now listen, I think just for equal measure, you should give away a gun ban.
Can Massachusetts keep it?
Just give away a gun ban, and they can.
It's like a carbon credit. It's useless.
Exactly.
But, yeah.
There you go. Here's your gun ban.
You are forever banned from. We'll do the sign of the cross on that.
That's right. All right. So I want to talk about one of the big stories at the Daily Caller. In fact, it is the big story at the Daily Caller right now. Mm-hmm. Go to your room is the headline. Joe Biden sent home to Delaware this weekend. Will not be making any campaign appearances. Will not be inserting his foot into his mouth. We've seen a lot of speculation over the past couple of days. Is the president going to replace Joe Biden? Is Hillary Clinton going to be the running mate? I can tell by the eye rolling.
Is the Loch Ness Monster secretly being held in Area 51?
You're not real impressed with this rumor?
Look, this started with a piece, I think at the Weekly Standard, I believe, and then the Drudge Report picked it up, and it became immediately current. And you have to realize we're at a point now where the Veep stakes is over. Everyone was speculating it was a parlor game, it was a betting thing. Shares were going up and down in trade, and even the Irish bookies were taking bets. And that's over now. So people have to have something to speculate on. They have to have a parlor game. They have to have office pools for something. And there's not much mystery left anymore. When you and I were kids, Cam, the announcement of a vice presidential running mate was something that was kept until very close to the convention, if not on the convention floor. Mm-hmm. There were sometimes actual floor battles over who the president's nominee would be. And now we're in this age where everything's got to be pre-done. The signs have to be printed 3 weeks in advance. They've got to have all this stuff lined up. So what's fun? What's left? It may just be the question of whether the Democrats will bail on Joe. I don't think it's going to happen. I really don't think they will do it. I don't think Hillary Clinton wants the job, and she would be the only other person they'd throw in there. What are they going to do? Give it to Anthony Weiner? Who's left on their bench? But Hillary Clinton has been sending very clear signals, although not saying it, that she doesn't want the job. I think she would consider vice president to be a demotion from Secretary of State, where you get to travel the world, impact foreign policy, have lovely lunches with people at $500 a plate, and look down your nose at people. VP is a punching bag and a funeral guest. Who the heck wants that?
She's indicated that she's not planning on being Secretary of State in the second term, though, right?
She's indicated that. I think it would be very difficult to replace her unless somebody obvious is waiting in the wings. And I've heard all sorts of speculation about military generals and whatnot who are waiting in the wings. There has been no obvious successor floated. Even the chattering classes in Washington are kind of throwing up their hands saying, well, if it's not Hillary, I don't know who it'll be. I don't know who it would be.
Yeah.
Do you? I mean, it's
The only one I can think of would like a Suzanne Rice, perhaps.
I think the only logical person that would be, oh yes, of
Fareed
course, would be
Zakaria.
John Kerry. He would be the
Oh.
obvious guy, but he hasn't put out any signals that would suggest he'd be interested. You know, he's a very senior senator. If the Senate stays Democrat, I don't think he'll want that job. If the Senate, here's my prediction: if the Senate flips Republican, Kerry will be knocking at Barack's door, begging for the Secretary of State. He will not want to be in the minority. It's no fun for an imperious, wealthy Democrat. No fun at all. So if the Democrats lose Senate, I think John Kerry will be your next Secretary of State. If not, he's not going to want to leave his gig. Why would he?
Right.
Why would he? He still secretly wants to be president. And running from the platform of having been senator is a lot better lock, historically.
Yeah.
We do make senators president. I don't know the last time we made a Secretary of State president.
Yeah, I mean, I guess in the early days of the Republic, that was one of the stepping stones.
Sure,
but
so was Treasury Secretary.
Right.
I mean, whatever.
Right.
But nowadays, you need to have some serious gravitas. And I think Hillary Clinton is ready to give that up in terms of Secretary of State to position herself for a future presidential run. And I think Kerry is saying, why would I want that chair? She's bagging it to run. Why do I want to jump in it?
All right, well, let's talk about Vice President Biden's comments about they want to put you all back in chains.
Oh, God. It's almost as bad as saying, why can't the auto industry in America lead in the 20th century? I mean, he can't figure out what century we're in.
Right. Well, there's been this dissonance. Did he mean to say it? Did he not mean to say it?
Of course he meant to say it.
Of course. I know that. I know that. Former Virginia Governor Douglas Wilder apparently knows that as well. Reports are that he was at a Mitt Romney fundraiser in Richmond, Virginia tonight.
Yes, he was. He was. Look, you have to understand right now the Democrats' electoral strategy is very simple. They simply can't win by running on their record. Everybody understands that if you run on the record Barack Obama has produced, he's going to lose. So he has basically two strategies. Number one, bring Romney down to his level with lots of negative campaign ads, mostly paid for by super PACs. And number two, try to shore up his base as much as possible. That's what all of this amnesty for illegal aliens is. That's meant to shore up the Hispanic vote. And that's what this rattling chain slavery talk is about. It's about getting the black voters who like him very angry and very jazzed up to vote. He doesn't care if white Republicans are angered by that because they're not going to vote for him anyway.
Right. But a guy like, when Doug Wilder gets angry about that, doesn't that indicate that, you're now treating the black vote like they're stupid and they're supposed to follow you? Like,
But Doug Wilder
script.
was always kind of a mild-mannered
Yeah.
black governor. He was never... we're not talking about Jesse Jackson Sr. or Jr. thinking, oh, you've gone too far. This is Doug Wilder. It's
right. To me, it is just it's very demeaning in a way because it's
extremely demeaning. But Wilder,
stick to the script.
But Wilder is sort of like Joe Lieberman. I mean, he's that kind of Democrat. It's like, if Lieberman says, oh, the Democrats have gone a little far, you're like, okay, fine, you're on the fence anyway. You're not a loyalist.
Oh, I tell you what, Doug Wilder. Back in, was it 2008, Cameron? Doug Wilder refused to endorse Cray Deeds for governor. So it's 2009.
Yeah.
Refused to endorse Cray Deeds for governor because Cray Deeds had supported the end of one gun a month in Virginia.
Okay.
In other words, I think there are issues where Doug Wilder is so passionate.
Sure. Yeah, but I don't think race
that,
politics is one of them. I just
No?
don't. I don't. I've never seen evidence that Doug Wilder is driven by the kind of racial, reverse racism animus that motivates a Jesse Jackson, a Louis Farrakhan, a Keith Ellison. I've just never seen that. It may be there. I've just never seen it.
Right. No. So, but the opposite, I think, may be true. To be seen as just a prop, to be seen as someone who has their line to play, I think is very offensive. And I mean, why was Governor Wilder at this Romney fundraiser tonight?
Well, I don't know why he was there, but I think the bigger point is, yes, Biden intentionally said that. Yes, as part of their strategy. It's exactly the sort of thing you send a vice president out to say because Barack Obama can't say that. He can't. He can put on the accent and pretend to be a Southern black gentleman if he wants to, and he can talk about, free at last, and we shall overcome. But saying the Republicans are going to put you guys back in chains if they win the White House, that's a bridge too far for any president, frankly. But it's exactly the kind of thing Biden can say, and people will say, oh, there's Joe. Here we go again. Crazy uncle in the attic. That's Joe Biden. So he can get away with doing that and tick a lot of people off. But at the same time, there is a segment of black voters who will say, yeah, right on. You tell it. We're all downtrodden.
What do you think, David, of the argument that Barack Obama wins by depressing the electorate and driving down voter turnout, because right now Republicans enjoy a voter enthusiasm edge, that the only way Obama can win is to make everybody just hate politics and not be excited about it?
I think it's too late for that. I think if you wanted to try that kind of a long-term depressive strategy, it should have started 6 months ago. What he can do right now is try to create enough doubt among Republicans, especially white northern Republicans, swing states like Ohio, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, that enough of them will stay home and not pull the lever for Romney. That's the only way he wins, is a handful of swing states, enough disaffected Republicans stay home. It's the only way. Otherwise...
Now you threw Wisconsin in there. You think...
oh, it's totally in play. And it was in play before Ryan came in.
Right. I was going to say, what kind of impact do you think Ryan has had in terms of, helping to make up the minds of the few undecideds out there?
I think he had a greater impact on Wisconsin than Rubio would have had in Florida or Portman would have had in Ohio. He's just so likable. He's so young. He's fresh. He's the definition of hope and change in the way Obama was 4 years ago. Everyone said, oh, great, a new generation of voices. I mean, Paul Ryan was born 4 months before I was. He's my age, roughly. And people see that and they get excited and they think, wonderful, we can get rid of these crusty old farts in Washington and try something different. That alone is an enthusiasm driver, policies aside and everything. And I would caution against reading too much into Scott Walker's survival of the recall election vote up in Wisconsin.
Yeah.
People have said to me, well, Walker won, so therefore the Republicans will take Wisconsin. Not so fast. I mean, Walker won the votes of a lot of members of private sector unions, Democrats, who were angry that the public sector union counterparts were getting special favors. It was an internecine squabble between one union and another. That won't play in November. Those people will go back and vote for Obama. The question is whether or not Ryan can inspire enough Wisconsin Republicans to come out of their ice fishing shacks and actually pull the lever. I mean, that's what it's about. And I think he had a bigger impact there than Portman would have had in Ohio and then Rubio would have had in Florida. So it was probably a very good choice.
Okay. Since we're talking about Vice President Biden this segment, did you see the story out of Radford, Virginia, the baker, the guy who owns, Chris McMurray, who owns Crumb and Get It? Love that name. Crumb and Get It. And,
only in America.
And Vice President Biden's advance team came in and said, hey, the Vice President would like to come shop here and try some of your fabulous baked goods. And he said, no, I don't really think so. Yeah. I'm not a big fan of the you didn't build that thing. So you heard the update. He sold out of basically everything but ice cream by 1:30 this afternoon. Lines out the door, people buying cookies, people calling in and buying cookies for like nonprofits and
advance orders.
Exactly. Just from outside of the community, just here, go give this to the soup kitchen. I want to deliver a dozen chocolate chip cookies. David, this is something, I think.
It's certainly something. I don't remember seeing that sort of thing when George Bush was being pilloried by Cindy Sheehan. I don't remember people, when he wanted to make campaign appearances, people saying, oh, God, no. Maybe it's just his advance people did a better research job and made sure they were only asking Republicans to go along.
Right.
There's another guy, and I forget which state.
In Iowa.
Was that
the
Iowa,
caterer.
the guy, the caterer, who said, okay, fine, sure, I'll cater for the president, but I'm going to wear this I built this business shirt.
Right.
Wonderful. And, the reports coming out of Iowa now that the Secret Service were kind of high-fiving him in the background.
Oh, no, that was the Virginia case.
No, both.
Oh, in both?
Both, yeah.
In both?
In both.
Oh.
Not just the vice president's detail, the president's detail.
Oh, because that was one of the little nuggets buried in the local TV news story, was that after the guy said, Chris McMurray said, nah, not really interested in hosting the vice president here at Crumb and Get It, the Secret Service came in, bought a bunch of stuff, and, way to go.
Yeah. Well, what I'm hearing now, and it hasn't been reported widely yet, I shouldn't really report this because it's not confirmed, but what I'm hearing from a friend of mine in the Secret Service is that a couple of the agents made sure they had their pictures taken with the guy with the I built this shirt. So we'll see if that rises to the level of a hooker scandal in Colombia. But somebody might have some splaining to do back at Central.
Wow. I'm sure the Inspector General will get on that. Fascinating. Well, look, Secret Service agents are allowed to have political opinions, but I don't doubt their professionalism while they're on the job.
Of course not. I mean, these guys will take a bullet for the president. That's what they're trained to do.
Exactly.
But they also vote.
Exactly.
And maybe they prefer to protect somebody else next year. That's fine.
So Cameron and I were actually having this discussion yesterday, and he asked, what's going to be the bigger phrase. They want to put you all back in chains, or you didn't build that. And I said you didn't build that.
Oh, yeah.
No question about it.
This election is about economic visions and values. It's not really about identity politics. To a certain extent, an argument can be made, and I'm not sure if this is true or not, but that Biden stepped in it intentionally in order to try to drive the debate away from economics, even for a week, to try to drive the debate back toward the gutter of race politics, because they figure at least they can fight that to a stalemate. They can't fight economics to a stalemate. They're going to lose that every time. And as long as the messaging from the right and from, the pundits and the talk show hosts and the late night comedians remains on whether or not Barack Obama understands what small businessmen do, oh, he's toast. But if you can get it back onto the kinds of things MSNBC covers, the race politics, the identity politics, that kind of just nonsense, then he's got a fighting chance.
Interesting. All right, we're going to take a quick time out. When we come back, we're going to talk guns and cigars with David Martosko, the executive editor of the Daily Caller. Stick around. Much more Cam and Company still to come.